Hello and welcome to Revelation Station. What is the best biblical film? This is a tough question. Now there are many films based on stories in the Bible. I've seen a few films based on stories in the Bible. I've seen Russell Crowe's Noah, which was interesting to say the least. I think it was alright. It was certainly very, very different from the story in the Bible. Very interesting film. I don't remember rock monsters being in the Bible. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're in there, but I don't recall them in there, and not sure I've ever heard anyone mention them before. But it was a very strange film. Maybe Noah is your favourite biblical film. Another one I've seen is The Passion of the Christ by Mel Gibson. I'll be honest, I didn't like that film at all. I know it was really popular, but I just couldn't enjoy it. It just seemed to be a few hours of Jesus getting tortured. There was no real glory in there for me. It seemed like they really had just expanded upon all the violence, all the horrendous parts of the crucifixion story, and not sort of paid any attention to the most kind of glorious aspects. You know, that this is Christ achieving something huge through death. So I was a bit disappointed with that film, I must say. Another one I've seen recently was The Ten Commandments by Cecil B. DeMille, the one with Charlton Heston. I think that's possibly my favourite biblical epic. Not seen loads, but so far that's my favourite one. I think it looks great. I think Charlton Heston is terrific as Moses. Really enjoyable film. I like Yul Brynner as Ramses in it as well. And also I've seen Exodus, Gods and Kings, starring Christian Bale by Ridley Scott. This is sort of the same story as The Ten Commandments, but it's got a kind of different take on it. There's some big differences with the films. I think they're both really good. I think they're both excellent films. I think Ten Commandments is slightly better. There's lots of other biblical films I haven't mentioned that maybe you love. I think there's one called The Last Temptation of Christ. I hear that's meant to be really good, so maybe you've seen that. Maybe that's your favourite biblical epic. There's lots of these films, as I say. I think King of Kings is another one about Jesus. I think that's Jeffrey Hunter in that as Jesus. So I'd love to hear what your favourite biblical film is. Maybe at some point I'll get to talk about the individual films I've just talked about in more detail. Maybe I'll watch a few more biblical epics and talk about them. But I'd just love to hear what your favourite biblical epic is. As I say, at the minute mine is probably Ten Commandments. I've not seen a lot of these films though, so that could change. There's some other ones that are coming to mind. I think there's one, The Greatest Story Ever Told. I think that's about Jesus. So maybe if we get enough people commenting, we'll do a kind of tally video explaining the results of this sort of little vote I guess we could have here on Revelation Station. So I'd not only love to hear which one is your favourite biblical epic, but why you like it, what you liked about it. Maybe you could even tell us the worst biblical epic you've seen. I think at the minute probably Passion of the Christ was the one I enjoyed the least out of the few I've seen. But you know, many people love it. I imagine Noah will feature at the bottom for a lot of people. So I know there's a lot of other religious films that aren't necessarily biblical, so please just try to talk about biblical films. I know it gets a bit tricky. Some of the films do take sort of poetic licenses with the stories in the Bible, so it's kind of hard to judge where exactly you draw the line. But I sort of say any film with Jesus in as one of the main characters sort of thing, I would say is biblical film. Anyone's based on sort of Noah or Moses, anything like that, I would count as biblical film, even if they do have quite a poetic license. Certainly Noah had a very poetic license, the Russell Crowe film. Alright, thanks for tuning in to Revelation Station.